to On the Waterfront with Coach. I'm Marina Hernandez. I'm an ID on the night side. I'm a longshoreman. Been a longshoreman for 23 years. I don't know. Just in case this is your first.
Including your casual time, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Right. Yeah. Oh, why you got to quantify it like that? Go ahead.
Ed Barreras. They call me Coach on the Waterfront. And this is going to be like our 16th episode of doing this. And I enjoy every episode more than the next one.
You know? I have to agree. We were just editing. I was listening to and editing the one just with Andy Harris and
Tim O'Connell.
No, not Tim. That we just had Tim, but O'Connell's right. Andy Harris and I always want to call him Donnie. Robbie. Thank you, Robbie.
Thank you.
Andy Harris and Robbie O'Connell,
Robbie.
Who started the Long Beach skate park, the Channel Street skate park. I was listening to it. I was like, I love this episode just because they told the story of how it came to be. So that really is different than what we've had before. It's like a story. Right.
And they put a lot of work and a lot of effort into that building of that skate park.
They sure did. And that's why I love that episode, because they're the founding fathers, and to hear like them riff off each other and their story, I'm like, oh, this is really cool.
They did a great job.
Mm-hmm. And then so we just interviewed Tim McOsker.
What a great guy.
How did we get council members on here?
Right.
We're legit.
We are legit. Tim McOsker, he's awesome. You know, he's good friends with the Hans. You know, he knows Janice and Jim and Kenny Hahn.
Yes.
And people are going to be really excited listening to this guy. He's got a lot of facts.
He's cool.
He is really cool guy. You know, and he's a Notre Dame graduate. And then he went to UCLA to do his become a lawyer. And he's a Bishop Montgomery alumni.
Right. He's a Knight.
Right. He's a Knight.
A fellow Montgomery Knight.
He's a true San Pedro man.
Yes. And you never know when you meet a politician if it's how it's going to be. Are they going to be cheesy or just very just tell you what you want to hear? Did not get that from him at all. Like super down to earth, genuine guy. Like I was like, oh, this he's cool to talk to.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's very approachable. You can go to his office anytime, and he's got a great staff. And he's doing a lot for the harbor area, and you'll find out when you see the program what he's doing for all of us.
Yeah, we talked. So, I mean, super relevant things to the port, the bridge. We talked about the rail lines, just Pier 500 a little bit. So things that are relevant to our industry, we brought up to him, and he was able to discuss it. So
right, and the closure of the refinery, he says that it's officially closed. There's no product being produced there, and it's officially closed. Then he gave us a little insight that not only that hill, that there was other stuff on the other side of Anaheim that's part of the Phillips. That
you were glad to talk about. I had to help you with that I kind of reminded you about the sports thing.
Oh yeah.
You were like, where are you going with this? And right. I'm like, I know that you wanted to talk about
it. I want to Field of Dreams to be in San Pedro there, in San Pedro, Wilmington, because it's for the kids. You know, all this is for the kids, and Field of Dreams would generate a lot of money, and the kids would be proud to play there. You know, they call it their stadium.
For sure, yeah. And like we talked about, a lot of athletes, really great athletes come out of this area. So that would be spot on.
Right on.
So it didn't sound like it was a no. So
Right. It's still, he's still in developing stage, so we'll be okay.
Yeah. And then next week, Dad, that's a big one. This is one we've been planning since last season.
We have been planning this, yes, from day one. This is going to be one of the first guys. I'm going to have Danny Ponce, who's my cousin, and his son, Jeff Ponce, who's his son. And we're going to talk a little bit about Uncle Fallow. And I really want to keep his legacy going. He was one of the first longshoremen down here, 1930s. He started down here. He worked till he was 80 years old.
What?
Yes. He retired. The son, Danny, and Ricky retired before my uncle retired.
He's like, I ain't quitting.
No, I ain't quitting.
Dang.
Yeah. And, we're going to go. He started the casual system.
Right. I'm curious about that, starting the casual process.
Right. And, he was a friend of Harry Bridges. They went out drinking together.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that'll be cool to hear something like that.
He's an old school longshoreman. When I was growing up and everything and became a longshoreman, he was one of my inspirations to be more like Uncle Fallow. He was one of them.
That's so cool. So I'm glad that's happening.
Oh yeah, and Danny, oh my goodness, wait you guys hear Danny. Danny is, he is awesome. He could do anything down here. He's like a Johnny DeLeva, but before Johnny DeLeva. Johnny DeLeva is like, I say my best friend, but Danny did everything down here. Before containers came down here, Danny was down. And then his son, Jeff, oh, what a great kid. Great kid. I mean, he'll tell you some stories, and, he's an upcoming guy in this union. Then his son got in too. So that's 4 generations that we're gonna talk about in the next series.
Yeah, the next episode.
Yes.
So definitely tune in for that one. That one's going to be awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, what's up with you? Where have you been going? Anything new?
No, just going to work, and I'm going to be going on vacation for a little while, and we just watching Fernie play baseball and watching Luna play baseball. My granddaughter and my grandson playing, and that's how I enjoy the weekends.
So you work hard during the week.
Work hard during the week, and then enjoy myself during the weekend with the kids and
nice.
stuff. Kathy and I, you, Fernie, everybody, we're having a great time.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. Yeah, we are having a good time.
Yeah.
So something exciting this week is I got a letter that I'm finally gonna take. I'm doing the physical / drug test to be certified for like a top, or I'm not sure what, but I'm going to be doing heavy lift. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you look. Do you not trust me behind the wheel? Because you went like, the look you just gave was like, hell no.
It's not for everybody, because we've had some people that have come out there and gone through the training.
Okay.
They can't do it. They can't do it.
Do you not have to?
It's not for everybody.
Okay.
Believe me.
That's fair.
I'm saying that because it really wasn't for me either.
Okay.
Top handlers and stuff like that. I just really didn't enjoy that.
Well, why not? What about it was not your speed? Well, okay, so let's talk about that. So we have people listening that are not longshoremen who are learning about this as we go, and I feel like we just jump to the dock talk or longshoreman of what this is and not really describing the job. You know what I mean?
Right.
So top handler, because I think, okay, so every May you sign up as an ID, you can sign up to be trained. And then when those positions become open, then they pull you off the list in your order of registration, your registration number.
Yes, right.
So aside from my first year, so I started in February. Next February, so this February is my 4th year as an ID. I only have 1 more year as an ID. And then I'm an A-book, finally. Lots to say about that. But so aside from my first year, I didn't sign up for anything because I kind of wanted to get the lay of the land of like, I just want to know what this B status is. But then every year after that, I've signed up for it, but they just haven't called me. So finally, I got my letter that's saying I'm going to take the physical or drug test. However, the woman that I spoke to said that it takes hi Taylor, that it takes a couple months for you to start the training.
Right.
Well, in a couple months is May again. They start the list all over. So I'm like, is anything going to happen? She's like, well, at least you'll have your drug test, and that's good for the physical, and that's good for 1 year.
Right.
So when they are ready to train, you don't have to do that step. So kind of I'm on the list, but I don't know.
So will somebody get ahead of you? Yeah, in May? How does that? I don't know how that works.
Someone potentially could that has a registration
Lower
that's
than
lower than mine.
Right.
Somebody potentially could.
Right.
So it's to drive, I'm assuming, because there's a lot of different things you can sign up for.
Right.
Top handler, heavy lift.
Heavy lift, yeah. Heavy lift's a lot of fun.
What's heavy lift?
Heavy
Forklift?
lift, forklift.
Why do they call it heavy lift if it's a forklift?
There's the small ones that they use in the fruit jobs.
Okay.
Small ones.
Or the crews have those little
The
tiny
cruise has them, yeah. Or the big heisters, bigger machines where you can load chassis and, different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you pick up heavier stuff.
okay.
Yeah.
And then the top handlers are in the yard. I have to explain, I know that if you're a longshoreman, then this is going to be a little bit boring. But if you're not a longshoreman, then we're trying to cater to people who are learning about our industry. That's what this podcast is about, essentially. So the top handlers are in the yard. So when the ship pulls up, the containers come off of the ship onto a chassis or a bomb cart. And then that's kind of what I do right now. So I pull up to the ship and I drive to the yard. A top handler is a big machine in the yard that takes the container and then stacks them.
Right.
So that's essentially
it's a giant stacker.
A giant stacker. So what about that? Now let's go back. What about that was like not for
Well,
you?
when I was training, you'd only go like 3 or 4 high.
Okay.
When you're decking. Now you're putting up there 6 high.
I know, I'm a little nervous.
So I mean, it's a little. It's going to take a little time, little finesse, good hand-eye coordination. There's a lot of things you got to look out for. When they pull up, you got to look for the dock loft when he's unhooking the pins.
Yes.
And then you got to make sure that the
clerk in their truck.
The clerk in the truck. If it's a bomb cart, it's easier to pull. Bomb cart, it's not a chassis. It's a bomb cart, right? So it's easily to take off because it won't get stuck. But if it's on a chassis, there's a possibility that the cone can get stuck, and little more things can happen like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to be real careful. There was an incident a while back. Al Galupo and I were the dock bosses, and the top handler guy was pulling a can off a chassis, and it got stuck in the back. So, but we don't have a pin man for that. The trucker's got to do it himself. Okay. Trucker got out. He turned the pin. Well, something went wrong where the can came down on the guy's finger.
What?
Yeah.
You were there?
We were there right after it happened. Yeah. It severed the guy's finger completely off. Right. It's completely off. I looked at it, I go, whoa. And Galupo, because he was a fireman and stuff, he got, a cup of ice and we put the finger in the ice but the guy was cool and calm, like nothing happened.
He was in his
like I was in
trauma
shock.
response.
I looked at it and go, whoa, but there was no bleeding or anything. It was just a complete cut.
What?
Yeah.
I did hear that because someone said, I think it was Johnny, is like, Al picked it up like it was a hot dog on the ground, like not a big deal.
Yeah, no big deal for Al. I mean, and then when the guy was calm, so then I got calm. It's thanks. But the top handlers, you got to be real careful out there.
Okay, you are making me kind of nervous because that is a lot to keep track of.
Yeah,
and
you'll
me, I'm a little.
You'll be okay.
Could be a little spacey
sometimes.
Sarah,
not Sarah, but Becky Nui, she's a good driver.
Wheezy's a good driver.
Wheezy's a good driver. So I mean, it's going to take you some time, but it's more money. You get more money.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to learn, and thank you for that out because that makes me feel comfortable to come to you and like the pressure's off. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If I'm like, hey, Dad, I tried it and like I don't feel like I got to do this because I'm gonna let down my family.
No. If you don't like it, just it's not for everybody.
Right. Okay. Well, I felt like at least there's something that I'm in the process of.
Yeah.
So that's
good.
Promising. I'm excited.
They
about
say that whenever there's an opportunity for doing different stuff, always sign up. Even if you're the last person that's going to get called, they want people that have 20 years to sign up or more. They have people sign up with 1 year. You never know. Sign up for everything. Well, I encourage everybody out there to sign up for everything. That's good that it's coming from you to say that because lots of people have reasons for not signing up. Yeah. But I'm of the opinion that the more that you're capable of doing, the more value that you have. Right. And just, you got a little extra something in your toolbox. Right. You want to be able to go that hall, and if you're sitting down there and there's hardly any work, and a top handler comes up, CL comes up, or any type of job, you're not afraid to take it, go up there and pick up that job. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And speaking of that, because you're saying when work is, I'm assuming work is a little slower, then you're available for those jobs.
Chinese New Year. It's gonna right now. I haven't really noticed, but we're the beginning of March. But I heard that it's going to start really slowing down. Like there'll be 5 ships coming into the port in the next week, or in the next week.
Right.
Usually, how many ships?
You know what? I'm not quite sure on the ship movement and everything. The only thing I do know is in March, usually it slows down. It's always slowing down during Chinese New Year. Always slows down, but it'll come back. You just got to be patient. Just save your money, and when the work is there, pick up the job.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. You had some.
Yeah. On a sad note here, we've had 3 foremen that just recently passed away. A real good friend of mine. Well, all 3 of them are friends of mine. David Chacon, he's a Banning graduate, and he was down here maybe, I want to say, over 50 years.
Wow.
Right? And he finally retired. He got ill, finally retired. And the sad thing is that his official day to retire was March 1st, and he passed away March 1st. Yeah. That's sad, but he was rest in peace.
Yes.
David.
So,
Really.
do you have like memories of him?
Oh, he would work. He would like to work a lot.
Okay.
And his main thing, he would say Eddie or Al Galupo or stay checked in. Stay checked in, because if you're checked in, you're going to be eligible to get a job. That was his deal. Stay checked in.
So he stayed checked in.
He stayed checked in. He stayed checked in. And then just the other day, Bear, as a matter of fact, told me that Fran Grove passed away. Franny Grove, wonderful lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was her job? What was her job down
She was
there?
a foreman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
she
yeah,
was
you did. Say
Yeah,
foreman.
these 3 are foremen. So, Franny, rest in peace.
And you knew her well?
I knew her real well. Really, always positive lady. I mean, just outgoing. Just wonderful lady. I'm gonna miss Franny. Yeah. And then the last one that just passed away, a guy named Scott Fox. I didn't know him. Did you know him, Marina?
I'm pretty sure that he was a foreman at ITS on the night side.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. So I haven't confirmed it, but I feel like when I saw that, so I made a Facebook page for us. So we have a Facebook page, and I started seeing, they have the black ILWU symbol with their number through it for if you pass.
Right.
And I thought, that's Scott? Scott. I saw I think his uniform or his jumpsuit said Fox on it, and I believe his name was Scotty Fox.
Yeah.
So I think that's him, which is wild, because when you see somebody one day or 1 week and then they're not
gone,
there,
right.
it's like,
And he's a young man. I think he was in his 40s.
young guy.
Young-
That's why I was like, is that him?
Yeah, young man. So again, rest in peace. 3 foremen, and
Big hit.
yeah, big hit. And then to cover my buddy Frank Baca, he's doing real well now. Frank Baca.
Who's that, Red?
Red.
Red's
Red.
making a full recovery.
Red's making a full recovery. He wants to come back to work, so hang in there, Red. Yes. But that's about all that's going on right now.
Kind of a busy, a full week.
Right.
Right. I like these updates, like these weekly updates, because it doesn't seem like a lot happens in a week, but kind of does.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of, it's a huge port. Next time I want to talk about the terminals, just breaking down, maybe we'll have a map of the terminals, just talking about what's what, YTI, because I know YTI as NYK.
NYK. Yeah.
But it's so I don't know. I have questions about the terminals, about the owners. I don't know. I just have questions. So I think that'll be good for me,
right?
But also for our listeners and viewers that want to learn more about the port,
right?
Because I feel like I want to kind of break things down a bit more.
Sounds
All
good.
right, yeah.
Okay, well, let's get on to Mr. McOsker, Mr. Notre Dame, Mr. UCLA, Mr. Bishop Montgomery. Here we go.
Here we go.
Cap on filming. All right.
My name is Tim McOsker, and I'm the councilman of the 1-5.
All right, Tim, thanks for joining us. So I thought it'd be fun. You are what I hear, a Pedro guy through and through.
Right.
My dad's born, raised Wilmington, diehard.
Right.
So I thought it'd be interesting to talk about a little bit of the history of what it was like growing up in Pedro and Wilmington. So what would you say? How would you describe San Pedro growing up?
I had a great childhood. I'm 63 years old. My dad was born and raised in San Pedro. And my mom's family, my mom came with her mom as a single mom when she was just a little kid. So my parents both, Pedro kids, they met at the Warner Grand Theater. My mom was a candy girl, and my dad was an usher.
How cool.
Yeah, and they met and fell in love there. And my dad went to Pedro High and Mary Star for a little while, St. Anthony's for a little while, but graduated out of Pedro High, and my mom was a Mary Star kid. And so, deep roots in the community, and knew a lot of families, and it was great growing up in the 60s and the 70s. We ran around and had fun and had lots of pals, and it was a simpler time. Or at least I think it was a simpler time.
It felt that way.
It felt simpler.
Why you're saying it sure was?
It was simple life at that time. I'm a little bit older than Tim. I'm 73, so I'm 10 years older than you. And Wilmington was a great city to grow up in. And at that time you could leave your door open in the summertime.
Yep.
Nobody would bother you or nothing. And then you go out and play. There's all kinds of parks everywhere. And I remember there was a bunch of fields with all kinds of fruit, vegetables everywhere. Yeah. And the neighbors would just help yourself. You go out there and there was no problems. Mm-hmm. It was great. The street that I grew up on was a dirt street, and then the taxes came in, and then they finally paved it. Did you live on the dirt street? I'm sure you did.
No, but we had dirt alleys, and we had wide open fields next to us where there's all houses now. And I remember running around and catching snakes in the hills. That was fun.
Wow.
So whereabouts what streets? What were the major cross streets?
So I was by 25th and Western. And so here's actually a really funny story. So my dad grew up in San Pedro, in the neighborhood I live in now by Holy Trinity. But when my mom and dad started having kids, they were looking for a cheap place to buy. This is a true story, and it's a crazy, crazy true story. I was a third child out of 6, and they knew they were having a big family, and they didn't want to leave San Pedro, but they couldn't afford anything. And so they went to South Shores. Can you believe it? So it's the cheapest place to buy in 1962, 63, 64 was this new development in South Shores.
What?
And so I grew up in South Shores, and in the area between Pedro and Palos Verdes, it's LA, but it was basically the north side of Anchovy was all hills. And so we would leave our house in the morning, hang out in the fields, catch snakes, play all day, jump in sewers. I don't know if you guys ever did that.
No, we never jumped in the sewer.
But those storm drains, you could jump in the storm drains,
Right.
Not real sewers.
Oh,
but
it's
storm drains.
like a bird?
On the curb, those cutouts on the curb
Yeah.
for storm water, because they were all brand new,
Yeah.
because it was a new development.
You would go in there?
You can go in there and you can
What?
go up another block and come out the block and
Yeah.
That's so
basically
cool.
play hide and seek in the storm drains. I wouldn't recommend it today.
No, not at all.
Yeah, what was it?
A simple time because things were less built out. There were some dirt alleys and a lot of just open areas.
How cool, yeah. So what was it like down in those sewers? Was it all like concrete in there and
Yeah.
just like a stream? I just imagine like a stream of water.
No
And-
water because in California, middle of the summer, and it was
yeah.
maybe a little bit of water if people were washing their cars or something, but it was just a drainage pipe.
So did you go, was there even a South Shores Elementary?
There was. It was a brand new school newer school called South Shores Elementary. I went there for a couple of years. My mom and dad wanted us to go to Catholic school, and so when we got into Holy Trinity, we transferred in, I guess that's what you'd call it, in about the 3rd or 4th grade for me, 4th grade for me, but then the other siblings all got in, and we went to Holy Trinity School, and when I graduated from Holy Trinity, I was going to go to Furman La Suenne, which was in that area. That was another draw for my parents to live in that area because it was on 25th and Western. Furman La Suenne closed, and I wound up, instead of going to Mary Star, which had been an all-girls school, talk about how dumb you are when you're 13 or 14. I didn't want to go to Mary Star because it had been all girls, and there were way more girls than boys.
What were you thinking?
I went to Bishop Montgomery.
Yes, give me some for Bishop.
Oh, that's right. You're a Bishop grad?
Yes.
So I went to Bishop Montgomery and graduated from there, but we lived in San Pedro my whole life.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of similar to me. So I grew up in Wilmington, and so I went to Broad Avenue, and then so I went to Dodson. I'm trying to think of where I went. I went to Dodson, so I had some San Pedro, and then I went to Bishop in Torrance. So
What a great school.
Yeah,
Great
very
school.
good school.
It was great. It was great.
And now, so my daughter's going to start high school, so we're just enrolled her at St. Joseph's was it Lakewood or Long Beach? So we just enrolled her. So
yeah, that's a terrific school. That's all girls still. Right?
All girls, yes, all girls. Which was we were teasing her for so long, like, oh, you're going to go there, and she was so against it. But then we went to go see some different site visits, and I'm like, oh shoot, this is getting real. Like Luna's going to high school. It feels weird when you have a child that's going to high school. I don't feel like I'm that old, but they had like a site night, and she went to it, and she got, when I picked her up, she's like, Mom, I like it here. She said all the girls seem very confident, and I was like, oh, well, you're gonna come here then, because if you can pick up on that. Yeah. And that's a trait that you want for yourself, you're going to go there. So, and there's been a lot of longshoremen. Terry Bullock, he told me his daughter went there. So, yeah, here it's like a pretty good school. She plays softball, so she'll hopefully play softball there.
Good. Well, good for her. Good.
Yeah.
Did you play any sports at Bishop Montgomery?
I did. I played football.
Okay.
And I played a little bit of basketball, not very well. I believe it or not, I played golf.
Okay.
And I ran track.
Nice.
I put the shot. But I think we have a mutual friend because he worked down on the docks. One of my dad's best friends in the world growing up was Ernie Martinez.
Great guy.
Yeah, and Ernie was at Furman La Suenne, and that was another big draw for us to go play for Ernie. When Furman closed, Ernie went over to Bishop Montgomery, and so it was great to be there with basically Uncle Ernie at Bishop Montgomery for my whole time. He coached football, he coached baseball, which I didn't play, but he's a coach's coach. He could coach anything. Right.
He coached when I was at Banning, he was helping us out there at Banning with Ferragamo.
He did coach at Banning.
Right.
He has an unbelievable, we had an event for him, or the La Suenne boys, threw a luncheon for him and gave him a big Lifetime Achievement Award sort of thing at the Dalmatian American Club about a year ago. And I was surprised to find out that he had also coached at Sarah, and he had been all over the place. And he coached at Pedro too.
Right.
He was with Mike Walsh at I think it was Mike Walsh.
Yes, Mike Walsh.
Older Walsh.
Yes.
At Pedro.
Right. He's a great guy.
Is he down there still as a
No, he retired.
Oh,
He retired.
He retired. His son is down there.
Right, little Ernie Jr.'s down there, and Ernie Martinez Sr. lives right around the corner from me now, and so I see him almost every day. Oh, I was going to say, my dad grew up in a neighborhood by Peck Park on North Leland, and by great coincidence, that's where I live now. And Connie, my wife, and I have raised 5 kids right around the corner from where my dad grew up. So Pedro through and through.
Definitely. What position did you play in football?
I was a defensive tackle and an offensive tackle.
Now, what years were you there?
I was there from 76 to 80. I graduated in 80.
Okay, so you heard about Banning football at that time.
Oh my gosh, Banning football was everything.
Well, I was part of that
Yeah.
Ferragamo in 1976. We started, and I was there for 6 city championships in a row. So it was really, really nice.
It was everything. I mean, it's hard to describe what a big deal in the harbor area or in the whole South Bay, Banning football and Carson football.
Oh yes.
Was because they would play each other in league, and they would compete for the Marine League championship, and they would play for the
City
championship almost every year. And Banning was a big deal. And Bishop would be out of the playoffs pretty early, so I could go to Banning games.
Not a lot.
Yeah, we played Furman one year. Right, I think we played them in 1970, and they beat us. They had some great players. They had a guy named Dick Gross.
Oh, yeah.
They had a guy named Marinkovic. I can't believe I can still remember these guys' names.
Yeah. Haven Moses went to.
Haven Moses went there,
yeah.
wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, a lot of great players.
Great players. That was a great school.
So intense how around here so many amazing athletes come out of this area, right?
That's right. That's right. And the other very significant school when I was coming up, and probably during your time too, was St. Paul High School. Remember that?
Awesome.
And St. Paul High School was in Santa Fe Springs, and a whole bunch of kids from the harbor area went to St. Paul High School because they followed a guy named Marion Ansich. And Marion Ansich was a longshoreman.
Yes.
And he was a Pedro family, and the coaches, a lot of the coaches all around the great coaches around the CIF city and open section had harbor connections. There were tons of harbor connections to these coaches all over the place.
Right. We played St. Paul in 1976. We had Freeman McNew at that time.
Oh yeah.
They hadn't lost in 10 years at their place.
Yeah.
And we got lucky and we beat them that year.
Wow.
On a field goal by Chris Carmona, we beat them. But what a great program Marion Ansich had.
Yeah,
great
really
program.
Terrific program.
Yes.
Another longshoreman who was a terrific coach was Coach Radisich at Mary Star.
Great guy.
Great
You know
guy.
all these
Oh,
names?
I know them all.
And there was a longshoreman guy named Ray Patricio, whose son Jimmy Patricio coached at Bishop of Vermont.
Right.
And I remember I was at Bishop Montgomery, right? And we weren't very good, but we played against all these teams because we were in what was called the
No.
Santa Fe League.
So I think it was Santa Fe.
Yeah.
What's more league? I just said
Long-
that. and I
for
don't know
Long
what that
Beach.
is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we played in a really good. I guess I don't know. I'm surprised I can't remember the league name, but it was weird because half the coaches in the league had some connection to the harbor area or the docks, except my coach.
That might have been the problem.
Yeah,
Well, Ernie, I know, is a diehard Notre Dame guy.
totally.
Totally. We had a kid, his name was Travis Davis, played at Notre Dame. And Ernie went down and seen him play a few times and
Yeah.
was in the locker room and touchdown Jesus and everything. Ernie's
Yeah.
the man.
Ernie's
the
so
man.
growing up, the Martinez family and the McOsker family, we spent a lot of holidays together. And the classic holiday would be we would get together for the bowl game that Notre Dame was in. And so he's either in my dad's living room or Ernie's living room. I remember watching so many Notre Dame games growing up as a kid. Ernie is still a big Notre Dame fan. My dad is a big Notre Dame fan. I wound up going to Notre Dame.
So how did that feel? Were you like when you got were you like Rudy? You got the acceptance letter. We're
felt
like,
like-
yes.
I felt like Rudy before Rudy existed, before I knew he existed. But it was, growing up in the area here, it wasn't typical to go away to college, not in those days.
Right.
And it wasn't like today where kids have 50 applications out and you're reading the World News Report about the rankings of schools. You just applied to a school and you went or didn't go. In fact, when I was in high school, when I was a senior at Bishop Montgomery, I put in an interest card to be a longshoreman. I mean, to be a firefighter, because I called it interest card,
Okay.
right? This was pre-lottery. I had a casual card to work longshore.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, back in the old days. This was
Okay.
when you get a card out of the unemployment office.
Right.
Remember that?
Yes, I do.
And so I had this casual card, but I wanted to work towards maybe becoming a longshoreman. And I applied to one school, one college. And if the fire department got back to me before Notre Dame got back to me, I would have been a fireman.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was
But
just like a chance. Like
It was
whoever
just-
gets to you first.
just a chance. So I went to college. I kept the casual card, and during school, during summers, I could come back and work bananas. That was back when
Right.
you'd read the paper. Back in those days, you'd read the news pilot, and you'd look for the ship calls. And if the ships were coming into the Dole dock, you knew there'd be work. And so Mondays or Tuesdays, you'd go out and try to get banana work.
Exactly. You know the days there, Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays were bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim knows that.
Oh,
That was the job that casuals got.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes coal, but it would just be sweeping and shoveling.
That's your favorite job, Marina. Well, that's great. That's great. And then you went to UCLA
For law. Yeah.
for law school.
Yeah, so I was at undergraduate, had a girlfriend here. She went to Bishop Montgomery. She was at UCLA, and I made the smart choice that I wanted to go to UCLA to be close to my girlfriend. And not only did I become a lawyer, but I married her, and we had 5 kids, and our 40th anniversary is in July.
Congratulations.
Wow, yeah, congratulations.
Those are my 2 schools.
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't go to those schools. I didn't have the grades to go there, but Notre Dame football and UCLA basketball. Well,
yeah.
Freeman McNeil played at UCLA.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I
McNeil
remember.
played there, and Danny Andrews and a few other players.
Yeah.
Mike Carrera, they played at UCLA, but
Yeah.
I like UCLA over USC.
What was it about Notre Dame football that attracted you so much?
Just the touchdown Jesus.
What is that? I
The
don't know
crowd.
what that
It's the church, right? And
No, it's actually it seems like a church, but
Okay.
it's the front of the library. It's near the stadium. The front of the library has a mosaic, and the mosaic is like 14 stories tall, and it's Jesus going like this, doing raising his hands in prayer, I guess, but it looks like a touchdown.
Yeah, touchdown. That's what you call it. That's what you call it. Touchdown Jesus. Yeah.
Can be interpreted.
And then their
different
fight
ways.
song. How about that fight? Every time I hear that fight song,
It gives you chills.
Gives me
And
chills.
have you been to Notre Dame? You
No,
went to a
I
game
could have
or-
gone a couple times, but I didn't.
You should
I didn't
go.
Yeah,
You should
Dad,
go.
you
It
should
is a
definitely
great
go.
pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing. My dad grew up as a Notre Dame fan because his mom, my grandmother, she was an Irish immigrant. And when she came to the States, she met a guy, got married, and he moved the family to San Pedro, my grandpa, to open the federal prison. So my grandpa worked in the federal prison system, and he was a mechanical engineer, and he got an opportunity to bring his family to California and build TI prison, which coincidentally is closing now because it's so
Yes.
old. The
So
point-
what year was that? Sorry, how long?
Oh, this is the 1930s, 1933 maybe,
Okay.
34, because my dad was born a few years later, and my dad's 88 right now. The point being, my grandmother was an Irish immigrant, and she's playing the radio, the 30s and the 40s, and she hears Fighting Irish, and it just makes her feel, close to home. She doesn't know football. She doesn't know anything. She just falls in love with Fighting Irish football, and so she plays it for my dad. So my dad, as a little kid, gets indoctrinated into Notre Dame football because his mom likes it, because, you love the things your mom loves.
Right.
So he like Ernie and like your dad, loves Notre Dame, grows up, loves Notre Dame. One of his kids gets into Notre Dame, goes to Notre Dame. Well, he's a LA City firefighter, and like a longshoreman, he's working his tail off to send his kids to school.
Right.
He doesn't have a chance to see it until my junior year. Like, my mom and dad are forking out money to send me to school, to a place that he would love to see, and he never sees until my junior year. And he comes out, and for him, it was like,
Right.
it was like he saw heaven. And he's been back several times since because he earned that right. But you should go.
Yeah, that's
because
on my
it's-
bucket list.
who's-
That's on my bucket list.
What game would be a good one to go? Like, who are their
Well,
closest rivals right now?
USC and Notre Dame, but they're not going to play next year. Something happened with they're in a different conference or
Schedule. I think
that-
I think they're afraid to play us.
probably. Probably.
So that would be the game you would like
That would
to
be
go
the game
to?
I would go to. Notre Dame and SC, yeah.
Are they big? Is that a big rivalry?
Big, huge rivalry.
Oh, okay, I see.
I mean,
You
it goes
can tell I
back to
don't know.
Newt Rockne,
Yeah.
He
All the way
coached,
back to Newt?
he coached Notre Dame. He brought him over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's they call it the greatest intersectional rivalry of all. And it's such a shame that they're not playing next
Yeah,
year.
yeah, that's
Last
sad.
year was the last game for a while, I guess. I went to that game. I went to last year's game with one of
Okay.
my sons. And I hadn't been back for a couple of years because of this job. I work so hard.
Yeah.
And weekends are important and busy. And I just had a sinking feeling that this was going to be an important game because they were already talking about not renewing the rivalry. And so one of my boys, who was living in Mexico at the time, I called him and said, "Hey, would you meet me there if we went to Notre Dame?" And so I went to the game, and sure enough, man, it might be the last one for a little while.
Yeah.
How cool.
I think it'll come back.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think it'll come back.
Sounds like it's got to.
Yeah, it'll come back.
What was your experience like leaving San Pedro and then going to that school and being there?
It was fantastic to be at a place that I had heard about my whole life, and that I knew the images, I knew the image and the pictures of Touchdown Jesus and what the stadium would look like and what the dome. It's very famously has a dome over the administration building with a statue of Mary on top of it. And so I knew all the images, and to see them in real life felt like what people must feel like when they go to Europe or see the Sphinx or the pyramids for the first time. You know it exists, and you think, I'll never see it. I saw it and loved it. And then it got cold. And I started marking my calendar like I was a kid in prison. I missed my girlfriend, Connie, the same girl that I married, and we've been married for 40 years. So that combination of just loving all the experiences, but really being homesick.
Yeah. My friend Danielle, her son, they call him White Chocolate. He went to Banning High School and he got recruited to go to Wyoming. So this past football season was his first season. And he has a girlfriend as well. She plays softball at Cal State Long Beach. So I'm like, how does he like it? She's like, oh, he's definitely homesick. She's like, it's boring as heck over there.
Yeah.
It's Wyoming. Although I would love it. He's like, it's you're pulled out of your comfort zone and just put somewhere totally different.
Right. It was northern Indiana. Northern Indiana is cold and it's remote. Campus is beautiful. I'm glad I went. It shaped a big part of who I am.
Right.
A big part of who I am.
What
It's
did
my
you
identity.
study there?
I studied government and English. So I had a government international relations focus and took a lot of English classes. So I wound up having a double major just because I enjoyed it, which I tell kids now. Take classes you enjoy.
Did you already have this political mindset as a kid that like, hey, I want to?
I think I did. I really did. When I was coming up in school, I had really terrific teachers, and when I was at Holy Trinity School, there was a nun, Sister Joan, who would bring in political figures into classroom and into assembly, and I met Vincent Thomas. And John Gibson,
named after the bridge.
Yeah. So who? Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Who? I don't know who is that.
He was an assembly member. He was a state assembly member.
Okay.
He was a member of the parish. He lived in San Pedro. By coincidence, he lived in the house behind the house I live in now, but I wouldn't have known that then. But she brought in characters like that, and like a lot of little kids grow up wanting to be astronauts or firefighters or football players. I just thought that was amazing. I really wanted to be a local council person. I wanted to be an elected official when I was a little kid. Isn't that weird? So I was
believe it.
in junior high, and then did the things that you would kind of expect, student government and volunteered for things and members of clubs, as well as playing sports, trying to be well-rounded. And then fast forward, get married, and start having kids. And my wife and I talked about it a lot, but your first obligation is to your family. And so she jokingly says that she made me wait 40 years to run for office. And it's half a joke because of our circumstances, I did wait. I practiced law, I worked in government, I had jobs where we could put our kids through school and get them on their way. And then just 5 years ago, kids were out of the house and Connie turned to me and said, now's the time. You should do this. So it was always in my mind, but I waited. I waited a long time because it's like raising a family, or it's like raising a family. You raise your daughter, you work hard to make sure you can provide for her.
Yes.
And sometimes you put off dreams a little bit, but not with regret. But just you wait for the time to do that thing that you ultimately are built for. And I feel like I'm built for this.
Well, I thank Connie for allowing you to pursue your dream. Really.
Yeah.
And,
She's been a great part. Connie's fantastic. You'll have to meet Connie.
Yeah.
She's absolutely fantastic. She's a great sort of moral guide, and she's a great supporter, and she's she's one of my best advisors on everything.
Right. So then what office did you run for?
So I ran. This is the first This is the first elected office I've ever been in. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Years ago, I got out of law school and I represented cities as city attorney. I got appointed by Jim Hahn to be his chief deputy city attorney a long time ago. He brought me over to be his chief of staff. So I've worked in and around government a lot. But the first time I ever put up my hand and said, I'll run for office was just 4 years ago.
What?
Yeah.
And you won on your first go at it?
Yeah.
You got it like that, Tim.
Yeah.
He's like,
He's got it.
Dumb luck.
Yeah.
Dumb luck.
no, not at all dumb luck.
We
No,
worked hard at it.
You definitely put yourself in positions along the way, it sounds like.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
you have your roots in the cities and everything.
Right.
Cities,
Yeah.
so that's real important. People are going to gravitate to you and say, "Hey, this guy's a Wilmington guy or Pedro guy or
Yeah.
what?" You represent what? Watts?
I have Watts. I call it the 1-5 because
Okay.
it's one district, 5 communities.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
Watts, Harbor Gateway, Wilmington, Harbor City, and San Pedro.
Okay.
So it's Watts to the water. I also call it Watts to the waterfront.
Watts to the waterfront.
So did you have to verse yourself with like that Watts area
Yes.
and Harbor Gateway and all that?
Yeah, so what was really important to do is to get into the race early and to spend the time in community to make sure that you genuinely knew folks.
Sure.
People are used to politicians coming into their community during an election and saying, hey, here's who I am, nice to meet you, and be nice and giving a big smile, and then getting the heck out and never coming back. And so I wanted to get early and get to know the Watts community and the Harbor Gateway community and Harbor City, and I knew Wilmington better just growing up in the area, and I know San Pedro very well. But to be present for, I literally ran for about 2 years and just was in community, got to know folks, got to know the needs, didn't tell people what they needed, found out what they described to me as were the needs of the community. And then very importantly, and I hope this is how I'm thought of, stayed in community. After we won, made sure that, I had a Watts office, I have a Wilmington's office, I have a Harbor Gateway office, I have a San Pedro office. I'm in community, I come out, I make sure I spend time with people and try to be the same person after the election as before the election.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me a lot of, do you know Vivian?
Oh, yes.
That reminds me a lot of her because she's now just pursuing District 7 for Long Beach. I think it's District 7, but same. She raised her kids and then it just felt like time for her. But along the way, she has been part of
very much like Vivian. I mean, she's a good union person, and she was on the Long Beach School Board or College Board.
Yes.
But making that move from the College Board, which is important, but it's not as big as being on City Council in Long Beach and then moving to the Long Beach seat. But it's not like she got involved just because she wanted to run. She is active with her community, and we know her values before she runs because she's a good union person, she's a good union officer, she cares about the benefits of the community, for the Longshore community, of course. I've endorsed her and support her.
Did you go to her event? I think it was just this past Saturday.
I told you I had the flu last week.
Oh, yeah.
I was a co-host of the event, but I was sick with the flu.
Oh, no.
So
That's the
I
worst
didn't-
when you have to cancel. My bad.
I didn't make it, but I did support it.
She had Diane Middleton and Janice Hahn. They were there, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Diane Middleton, we had her on our program. She's a wonderful lady.
Isn't she great? She's a pistol.
Yeah, she's a
I love her.
pistol.
That's
Definitely.
perfect. A pistol.
Yeah, I love her. She's technically on my staff. Yeah, no, she doesn't need a job, of course.
Right.
But she and I.
She did mention that.
Yeah, we've known each
so.
other for a long time, and when I announced ready for the race, she wanted to talk. You know how Diane is. She got out her notepad and she had her questions and she wrote them down to make sure that when she got back to me in 6 months that she knew that I knew that she knew what I had said. Anyway, we had great conversations and she supported me, which I greatly appreciate. And then she was removed from the Harbor Commission.
I was so disappointed with
I was really, really, really upset.
Yeah.
And she and I talked and met, and we had a community campaign to get her back on. And that, the mayor makes those appointments.
Right.
And that that fundamentally changed my early relationship with the mayor, and it has also marked my recent relationship with the mayor, which is better, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But we reached a point where I thought it'd be really, really cool if Diane came on as my harbor labor advisor. And
Perfect.
she is an unpaid advisor on my staff. It's unbelievable. We have a great friendship and a great professional relationship, and it's wonderful to have her on the team, if you will.
She's an honorary longshoreman too.
I know. I actually was at the Memorial Hall when she got the hook and got the honorary and got the jacket, and
Right.
she was made an honorary.
Right.
Oh, how cool. I didn't know that was part of it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. Like a ceremony. I just thought someone
No,
bestowed
she's-
it on her. I didn't know there was like a ceremony for
It was
her.
like a ceremony, and it's very rare. I don't know who else has ever gotten it.
I don't know if anyone else has ever gotten it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
find out. You wanted to go back to your relationship with the mayor?
Yeah, so Diane has been, was, right in the middle of that. I was very, very upset about Diane getting removed. And it really put us in a position, it's very Diane, and I hope it's very much like me too, is that you just don't grouse about things, you come up with a plan. And her removal caused us to come up with a plan to put on the ballot, 2 elections ago, put on the ballot a requirement in the city charter that there be 2 representatives from the harbor area on the Harbor Commission, 1 from San Pedro, and for the first time ever, 1 from Wilmington. Now, when I say first time ever, not that there hasn't been a Wilmington representative,
Right.
but we've never designated that these are 2 unique communities that each deserve to have representation on the Harbor Commission and have different experiences with and different histories with the Port of Los Angeles. And so we put that on the ballot. Diane was really, really helpful in helping me craft the language and get it qualified for the ballot and get it passed. But for Diane being removed, I don't think we would have done that.
Right.
And so she was an inspiration. And so we have had 2 local commissioners in the past, but that's because we've had mayors that chose to do it. When I worked for Jim Hahn, we had that, but it's not required in the charter until now. Now it is.
Love that.
Yes, I love
Yeah. So can we talk about the Hans a little bit? Because my dad loves the Hahn
that.
family.
Kenny Hahn my dad loved Kenny Hahn.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he always came around and everything, and then, James Hahn became the mayor, and then
Yeah.
I love Janice Hahn, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I see her all
He's
the
a
time.
big fan.
I'm a big fan of Janice Hahn.
Yeah, me too.
She's a wonderful lady.
She's a wonderful lady, and it's a wonderful family. And we can talk. I would be delighted to talk about the Hans. I feel like I'm an honorary Han. I kind of got adopted by the family. I met Kenny years and years ago when I was practicing law. I was a young lawyer representing small cities around the county. And because of that, I would run into Kenny Hahn because he was a county supervisor. And these small jurisdictions around the county are really are very important to county supervisors. Because Janice represents, 20 cities or something. I don't know what the number is, but a big number of cities, from inland Walnut all the way to San Pedro. I met Kenny at a conference, and he's a legend, and I was just in awe. It was like meeting, it was like meeting a president of the United States for me. And he was sick from his strokes, and he was wheelchair bound. And he had talked like that, he had that voice, and he said, "Hey kid, you should meet my son. My son's the city attorney in Los Angeles, and he would like you, and you'd like him." And so I thought, well, how am I going to do that? I knew who Jim was, and I had met him before, but not not professionally met him. And so I reached out to Janice, and Janice says, "Sure, I'll do the introduction." And so through Kenny and Janice, got to know Jim Hahn, and ultimately Jim Hahn hires me in to be his chief deputy city attorney.
I'm sure Kenny had a lot to do with that.
Probably had a lot to do with it, yeah. And Janice probably had a lot to do with it. And we hit it off, and we worked together really, really well for 4 years in the city attorney's office, and then he brought me over to be his chief of staff in the mayor's office. And when he became mayor, it was the same election that Janice became city council member. And so been tracking on and off with the Hans, mostly on,
Right.
For 30 years, 40 years, I don't know.
Right.
A long time. And they are just a wonderful, wonderful family of public servants.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like their hearts are in the
Their
right
hearts in the
place.
community, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels genuine.
Right.
Yeah.
Was there anything surprising? You said you went to the different communities that you're representing. Was there anything that surprised you about the needs there, or what people said, or what they expected?
I wouldn't say surprised me, but I guess you have a sense of what you might hear, and then you find out the depth of how people feel it. And I'm acutely aware of folks in Wilmington saying we feel like we're the redheaded stepchild. You hear that to San
We do that
Pedro.
all the time, right.
Yeah, and I get it. I get it, it has really shaped the way we're trying to do the work in this office. Just calling it the 1-5, we have to remind ourselves it's not about one community. It's about 5 beloved communities, and I had a sense of what Watts would tell me and how they would feel, but you get a sense every day of the depth of that feeling. The black experience in America, it's just different from any other experiences. And then you layer over the fact that, Watts now has a very large Latino community. It's a majority Latino. And that creates special opportunities and special challenges, right? And I'm always gratified that people let me into that world and say, here's what we're experiencing. And I think they only do it if they trust you that you care and you're going to do something about it. So what we are trying to do, and when we call it the 1-5 and when we act every day, we're trying to make sure that no community gets left behind. That we don't just favor a group because it's larger or because it votes more or because it influences elections more or has more access to the press. We really try to shape our policies to address what the community wants. In Wilmington, we want to make sure that we keep our jobs. We want to make sure that our air is cleaned. We want to make sure, even as we convert to electric equipment, that human beings are running that equipment. Or if we close a refinery, that we're working to make sure those folks get jobs and that we do something good with land afterwards.
About that, Dad, because are you also, this is not Wilmington land, but the San Pedro, right? One of the refineries just closed in San Pedro.
Yeah.
So what's the...
Phillips 66.
Yes.
Yeah.
The big pumpkin, I'm going to miss that caramel corn,
Right.
driving up to that caramel corn.
Yeah.
What's your plan on that? I mean, it's probably far away because of the contamination of the soil.
Sure, yeah.
And all that, but can you tell us what the plan?
Yeah.
Because I have one vision.
Do you?
Yes, my vision is I've been coaching for years, and my grandson is playing right now, and he goes to these different places, and they call the Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
They got one in Chino, Harupa, they got one in Palm Springs, they got them everywhere. That would be the ideal place to have a Field of Dreams up there.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's close to the freeways, and
Yeah.
you can generate so much money there. I
Yeah.
mean, you go there, they have a snack bar, and the fields are rented all the time.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I don't know, I mean, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. So we don't know yet,
Okay.
but I'll tell you what's in play. So Phillips owns about 400 acres there, and a couple hundred acres on the Carson side, other side of Lameda Boulevard. It's 2 campuses, and they have already idled the facility, so it's not generating any oil and gas now.
Okay.
It's idled, meaning the machinery all works, but they're not pumping anything out. They put in an application to clean and reuse the property, and their application will include warehouses up on top. But I pushed back hard and said I need to see something, particularly on Anaheim, because that's the Wilmington facing side, by the way. I need to see retail shops, open space, and by the way, a pumpkin.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, on Anaheim. And so they have a preliminary plan, and I haven't ruled on it because it's not ready for prime time yet, but it would be 1 mile of retail. And what I've pressed for is on the freeway side, on Anaheim, closest to the 110, to have a big box store. I'd like to see a Costco type store there with all the stuff that comes with it. And then for that 1 mile stretch all the way to 5 Points, have some depth of restaurants, shopping, open space, kind of like the Enclave and the Gateway. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. But as you get closer to 5 Points and you're kind of heading into Harbor City, I want a grocery store there. A grocery store would really, really serve the community well with all of the street improvements, because it's kind of a raunchy old street.
Right.
Now, here's the other thing. They own acres, many acres, on the north side of the street that you think is Harbor Park, but it's not Harbor Park. There's some private property that Phillips owns there. I want a recreation center there. I want basketball, baseball, soccer, gymnasium.
Field of Dreams.
A Field of Dreams. Yeah, it would be like a Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
There you go.
So on the north side, sort of a Field of Dreams. It's cleaner property. They've never, you don't want to put kids sort of digging in the dirt in a place where it's been contaminated, right? So it's sort of inset into the park. And next time you drive there, look over and you'll see a space that kind of looks different than the park, and it's kind of fenced off. That's the area.
I never realized that.
Yeah, it's unless you know it's there, you don't look for it. And then we haven't resolved it because I'm not wild about warehousing, but this is a Port of LA, and Longshore and logistics does require warehousing. So they're looking for some warehousing. We're going to fight over that a little bit because I also it'd be good to see some light manufacturing and some creative office space and some cool things, up on top of the hill where the pumpkin is. Oh, and I forgot to tell you the pumpkin part. So at 5 Points in their proposal, they're talking about doing grocery store and some retail there, but also having sort of a park with a pumpkin.
Well, are they going to give out popcorn? That's the.
I don't know if they're giving out popcorn.
I mean, the pumpkin's fine, but I want the popcorn.
I'll hold out for the popcorn.
Okay, so.
But that's years off. You're right about that.
Years
off.
Yeah.
They have to do an environmental document, and they have to clean the property. And I'm going to hold them accountable for as long as I'm in office. I'm going to hold them accountable to that. And my guess is that, my successor will ultimately see it built. But we'll put ourselves in a position where we don't have a refinery there, and we have something that's of use to the community.
Did something happen? Why did it close? I don't know that.
It's a board decision, and people will speculate about different reasons. Some people say it's too hard to work in California. It's too hard to be a refinery in California. But in the end, my guess is that if you are Phillips 66 in Houston and you're the board of directors of a gigantic company, you look at California, you say, we're sitting on 400 acres of land near the waterfront. It's pretty valuable property. It's probably more valuable in development than it is in refining oil and gas.
So will they still own it?
That's the plan. It's up to them, but that's the plan.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. So, Dad, did those, Tim talked about the needs for Wilmington. Do you feel like those align with what you're... Yeah.
Yeah, that's right on line.
Because I think Buddy was telling me Wilmington might have the worst air quality. Is it in the, don't tell me it's in the nation. That would be... No,
but it's, but there's something called Cal EPA assessment, sort of a needs assessment, air assessment, and Wilmington and other parts of the harbor area score in the 90th percentile for some of the worst air. And it's related to the logistics industry, which is why we need to change the engines of the yard hustlers and the equipment in the terminals and keep the jobs, which is why we need to convert trucks, the 20,000 drayage trucks registered in the port, and they're moving in and out of our communities. And probably the biggest single contributor are the ships themselves. We have very little control over that, but it's going to be important for us to keep working with the port to come up with green shipping lanes and encourage the shippers that we're working with, and this requires diplomacy more than anything else, is to have them convert their engines. The United States is probably not as aggressive as other countries on doing that. Other countries are probably going to be driving the bus on cleaning up ships But I think we all need to make sure that we change the way that we do logistics. Refineries are a big issue for our community here in Wilmington. And I'll tell you something else. This is so not sexy, but it's so important to me. One of the greatest things we can do to get trucks out of our neighborhoods is to fix Lomita Boulevard. Think about Lomita Boulevard when you are at Eubank and you're heading east, right? And you're heading towards Alameda. It becomes a dirt street behind Con Global and all those other companies. It becomes like a dirt street. And then it doesn't cross the railroad tracks and hit Alameda. It actually stops. So those trucking companies up there have to get in and out of their businesses, and truckers have jobs too, right? And so what they do by necessity is they drive south through East Wilmington, through Drum and Blinn and Sanderson, and they create all that mess for our East Wilmington neighbors. I am so deeply committed to building out Lomita Boulevard. And if we build out Lomita Boulevard so that you can make it from the 110 all the way to Alameda, and you're right between Carson and LA and Wilmington, LA, we could take a whole bunch of trucks out of Wilmington, because now it would be a circle. It'd be a circle from Harry Bridges, Alameda, Lomita, Freeway. You think about that circle. What does that circle do? That circle gets in and out of terminals pretty easily and avoids driving through Wilmington. And I feel like that truck traffic is the greatest harm to our kids. And so I am 1,000% committed. My staff thinks I'm crazy. I call it the Lomita punch through. And I've gone to the United States Department of Transportation and to the mayor and to the CalGO, is a business group in the California government. And I've pitched it to everybody. And we're actually in design right now to show what that street would look like.
Some progress.
Yeah, so it would, as it got closer and closer to Alameda, it would actually go up and over the railroad tracks. So that's the most expensive part. And then it would hook up to Alameda, which we're going to be doing we're going to spend $90 million to repair Alameda. About the same time we're doing the bridge, by the way. And Alameda's terrible over there by the Union Hall,
Right.
by 13. But I just want to take those trucks out of our neighborhoods. And I think that would probably be the single greatest thing we can do for environmental justice for the Wilmington community.
I agree.
How about, so my husband works for Pacific Harbor Line, and so as you know, they just, their contract, they were out-contracted, I don't know how to say it, by a different company. Is it true that they want to build up the rails lines and then have distribution centers further out and then have it more rails here? Is that?
Yeah. So the port, the joint ports of LA and Long Beach let that contract. And I'm not just saying because your husband works there, but I was supportive of his company keeping it. It is up to the ports.
They had no complaints. They were very, I don't know what happened.
They were environmentally sensitive and no complaints. And there was an RFP that went out, which is fair. You put things out to request for proposals. But his company did bid on it. And then this company called Alameda Beltline, ABL, formed between the big two railroad companies formed it, or at least they staffed it up, and they won the bid. But there is a lot of movement. I don't think it's by ABL, but there are a lot of folks in the industry looking to build more on-dock rail, and then Long Beach has Pier B, where they're going to build a lot of train building capacity on the Long Beach side. And then in Barstow, there's an inland port that is being built. Oh, it probably is. It's probably by the big two rail companies, but I'm not sure of that. I know BNSF is a big driver of the Barstow facility. But the idea is to put more on rail. I am actually for that. I'm for that part, because that'll get trucks off of our road, and it's environmentally less damaging. And if we can change the engines on locomotives, it could be, we could really do a great job. And we also have the Alameda Corridor that we spent billions on building, and it's underperforming. And so I'm for more rail.
And what do you mean it's underperforming?
It's we're not pushing enough trains. We're not building enough trains in the L.A. Long Beach harbor and putting them into the corridor. And so we're at about 50% capacity, or maybe less, for the Alameda corridor, and more containers are going out on rubber tire, going out by truck.
Okay.
And I get that we have truckers, and I want them to have jobs, but that's more traffic, that's more environmental damage. And one of the issues of environmental damage is not just the smoke that comes out of the engine, but it's also the material that comes off the rubber tires. Right.
Yeah, you come home and you're all sooted up, and yeah.
When people say, on my windowsill I have this black soot, some of that's particulate matter from truck tires. Some of it.
And you're breathing it.
And you're breathing it.
Ugh.
Okay, let's change a little bit here. How about the closure of the bridge?
Yeah.
That's going to be huge, right? Is there going to
Huge.
be more traffic going through Wilmington? What's going to happen there?
Yeah, that's been the answer is yes. Right. That's been my fear from the very beginning.
Right.
The bridge closure now is slated for early next year, and it would go for 16 to 18 months. My earliest comments, I commented on the environmental document, and I went to a number of the hearings, and I made the comment that this could be, remember Carmageddon years ago?
Yes.
I called this Harborgeddon.
Harborgeddon.
This will be Harborgeddon, and it will have the greatest impact on Wilmington. I said I'm concerned about Wilmington, concerned about all the communities, but Wilmington will have the greatest impact if we don't plan ahead and if they don't do a few things. And I made recommendations for what should go into the plan. And they sound simple, but they are effective, and this is how Carmageddon wound up being less of a problem, whatever it was, 10 or 20 years ago. That we need the state to engage in paid advertising and free media to let folks know when it's going to happen and to plan ahead. That we need to have signage boards and all of those electronic signs you see on the freeways. Tell folks all the way up, all the way to the top of the 405 and the top of the 710, that if you are on the west side and you got to get over to the east side, if your final place is going to be Long Beach, you got to move over quickly. You got to basically come up with a detour route that moves people before they get all the way down to the harbor and are cutting through Wilmington, right? And because you can do it. Clearly, you can do it if you come down to 710.
When you think up the 91, up around
Like 91, or even Sepulveda. Go through Carson.
Santa Fe, yeah.
I don't represent Carson, but don't make it just PCH, Anaheim,
right,
and
Harry
Bridges.
Yeah.
Unfair. Two, and they actually took our recommendations, and so there are more detour routes. Also, we know there's going to be more traffic, and that's going to impact our streets. And so we got into the EIR a pot of money for the state to assess our streets through the Wilmington community now and make repairs now. So before the bridge closes, they're going to be making repairs of some of our streets, and then hiring officers to enforce truck regulations. Because these are not truck routes. Some of them are truck routes. Anaheim is a truck route, but everything else, and no cut-through traffic. And so we're going to get additional CHP officers, and we're going to get some funding for our DOT officers to enforce rules. And then when it's all done, to make even more repairs on all of our streets. So those sound like simple things, and they are simple things. But if we can educate folks and move the traffic from east to west and west to east before it comes down to the harbor area. So if you're on the coastline and you're going to be in Long Beach, cut across the 91 and come down the 710 and stay out of Wilmington.
That's the solution. Stay away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
It's going to be tough.
So when is the closure?
That will be early 27.
Okay.
So they want to do it for the Olympics? I mean,
Want to be done before the Olympics start.
Before the Olympics start.
Yeah, that's the
That's their goal.
16 to 18 month.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
That's going to be tough.
But on the other hand, the bridge is old and kind of unsafe.
Have you heard UFO rumors?
No, please.
I used to work at Evergreen a lot. It's have you been on some of the terminals?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know you said bananas, but so I worked at Evergreen a lot, and that's like a rumor that there's a lot of UFOs that go under and around the bridge.
Really?
I've heard from multiple people. I don't really believe in UFOs, but I just thought it'd be. I don't know if you've heard something and you wanted to break any news.
No.
Well, I want to confess, I was at Yang Ming at night, and over the bridge, I saw just a light just come right over, and I said, that was strange. Maybe a plane or a jet, crash or something, and nothing. But I did see a
Really?
flash of light. This is about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, people see floating things around there.
I have not heard those rumors, but if I had, I couldn't tell you.
I had fishermen friends that were sitting on nets. Rosie, Honorado, sitting on the nets, and he said he saw a flying saucer, and he told his friend, "Don't say anything because they're going to send us back home." So, that's just my experience.
That's funny. I did not expect you to say that. Oh, good. Thanks for backing me up.
I had to confess. But, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Last thing, unless you want to discuss something else, the new Pier 500, they're expanding the pier. I just heard a little bit about that. Do you have more info about that?
I don't have very much info, and I think a lot of folks are in our position wondering what the heck.
Yeah.
I did know that they're taking the riprap and dumping it there, and so that there's a sort of an elevated floor.
What did you call it?
It's the stuff that when they dredge, riprap, I called it.
Riprap?
It's like rocks and debris.
Oh, okay. I've
and,
never heard of that term.
and things that you pull off the bottom of the channel when you do your dredging, and so the dredge material was going there for years and years. And I think in the back of everyone's mind, we knew that there was going to be an expansion or a new pier there someday. But it was just very recently that I heard from the port that it will be a Pier 500, and they would put it out they would analyze it and put it out to bid. I don't know what's going to happen. I think there'll probably be a pretty hot contest for who gets access to it if it gets completed. If it gets completed.
Interesting. Okay. So
And
something to watch.
Yeah. And the new cruise terminal that they're proposing out there, Outer Harbor 49.
Yeah.
Out there.
That'd be cool, right?
Yeah, but how would the parking and
Yes. So we had Ernie. What's the last name?
Ernie Chavez.
Ernie Chavez. He's a longtime boss, a cruise terminal boss. He now works in Long Beach, but he's for 30 years.
Yeah, he's been down here.
And that was so when he was on the show, we talked a little bit about that, and he was like, I don't know, because the parking, like that he's intimately involved with all things cruise, so that was his.
Yeah. Now,
concern.
that space will have the ability to build. I mean, it's pretty big. It's pretty big, and so they can put parking out there. But if you come back from the berth and you're at 22nd Street, there's a lot of parking there too, up and down 22nd Street.
Enough for two.
Well, and then and they might have to structure them. I haven't seen the EIR yet. We will all comment on the EIR, and this will be a big issue. But they might have to structure parking, and I think it's a great opportunity for us. I think it's a great opportunity for all of us. We just need to make sure that we can get people in and out of there safely. But that area, before they even break ground on the cruise terminal, that's where Olympic sailing is going to be.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we pushed back on Long Beach and the Olympic Committee and said that the wind is much better in the Port of LA. It's just much better.
Much better.
Hurricane Gulch is a great area, and just outside of our breakwater is a great area, and we have closer vantage points because of the cruise terminal berth, or the prospective cruise terminal berth. And so we wound up winning that back, and 6 sailing events are going to happen for the Olympics in 28. And that area is going to have viewing stations, and it's going to have all the back of house for NBC, I presume, for all the television. And it's going to be sort of an Olympic, it's going to be an Olympic venue.
That's awesome.
Be really
That's
cool.
So cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm like, how do I get involved? Like, how do I volunteer? Like, I want to be in the opening day performance. Like, I just want to be so cool to have so many people. I think when was the last one that was here? 84?
84.
84.
84. Yeah. So to have this one now, I was born in 82, so obviously I don't remember that.
Oh,
but,
show off.
Sorry. So you took my breath away on that one. Yeah, so I just want to be like, it's so cool that so many countries are coming here. And
It'd be great. Speaking of countries coming here, the World Cup is coming, right?
Yes.
And the World Cup is going to be cool. And the other day, we had an LA City Rec and Parks program that we put together where we're going to have viewing parties for free in our parks.
Oh, cool.
So it's not going to be the fancy harumph, buy a ticket, and you get behind a silk rope. It's going to be a LA City Parks event. And so each council member said, where would you want to have it if you had a viewing party? And I said, Wilmington Rec. Wilmington Rec would be a great place because it's a really cool park, and I just think it could be a great venue. And so then we had, among the 15 council members, we drew numbers on a bingo board, basically, so 1 through 100, to see who gets to pick first. I drew B1.
Bingo.
Bingo. B1. So I get the absolute first pick on what World Cup game or events that we will put on the big screen and have a free party at Will Hall.
Have you decided? You want to announce? You haven't decided?
I want to hear from our constituents.
Okay, so this is a perfect time. Comment on this podcast.
I wanna
Comment.
hear.
What do you want? What
Do we
game?
want an opening? Do we want a championship? Do we want particular countries? What do we want?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I get to
love
pick.
that.
Whatever I pick, we
How
get.
are you lucky? Are you just like? do
You're
you-
going to get phone calls now after this airs, right?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe the team with the biggest stars or something.
But I got to warn your dad, Notre Dame will not be playing.
No. Shucks.
Yeah, you got to go there to experience that. Okay, is there anything else that you want to cover that's like in the works or anything?
No, we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we sure did.
I'm really glad I talked about the punch through. I'm glad I talked about the Olympics and the World Cup, and your questions were fantastic. And I'm glad that we're both Knights,
Yeah.
Montgomery Knights.
Yes.
So I really had a great time. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, and your staff member, Axel, what is he? Do you call that chief? What is he?
Axel Palacios does my port and capital projects.
Okay, cool.
So he's on my leadership team.
Definitely. He said that because I asked her if you have any re-elections coming up, and he said, yeah, in 2 years. He's already looking to the future. He said in a couple of years that you have a re-election coming up. So
It's closer than that. It is actually my election's in June.
Oh, you know what? He did tell me that June.
Yeah.
That's right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
How do you feel? You feel?
I feel good. I work hard at everything I do, and I will, run right through the tape on this one and make sure that I talk to every group that was with me before. I had a broad coalition of community groups and labor unions and business organizations and community leaders, and I'll ask everybody to be with me again. But this is about the time that the campaign kicks off. It gets real for people because we're now, just a few months out from the primary. The primary is June 2nd, and ballots will be in your mailbox around May 2nd.
Okay. Seems like you enjoy your job and that you're like the Hans, like your heart's in the right place and you really have a well-rounded picture of the needs of the community. So
I hope so.
yeah, it truly does seem that way. This is my first time meeting you, and that's my impression.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That
How
means a
about a little
lot.
shout out for your staff?
I have a great staff. So the way we set up our office is that, and I promised during the campaign I would do this. I have a staff in downtown LA because you need a chief of staff and you need people to run your legislative programs. But I really focused my office on field staff, people in the community, because it's all about the community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, folks care about sidewalk, street, curb, gutter. How do they feel? Do they feel safe? And do they have someone they can reach out to? And so here in Wilmington, I have Alex Rodriguez, who is my deputy, and Gabby Villanueva is her team member. She's a case manager. So I have 2 staff members here that work just on Wilmington, and when I'm not in Wilmington, they are me, and they do all that work. And they are fantastic. And I have a couple of staff members in San Pedro who do the same. I have a couple in Watts who do the same, Harbor Gateway and Harbor City. And so a little more than half of my staff is dedicated to the field. The head of my field operations is Erica Velasquez, who's a Banning grad. Born in
right?
Yeah.
Do you know what year?
I wouldn't put an age on her.
Okay, sorry.
You just put me into hazardous territory. She's a young woman like you, and she's fantastic. She's great. Erica Velasquez is well known in a lot of communities because when she was coming up, she worked for this office for CD15, and then she was with Janice Hahn, and then she moved with Janice Hahn to the supervisor's office and trusted ally of Janice Hahn. And when I came into office, I wanted someone who understood the 1-5, who understood our communities. And so it was old-fashioned. I went to Janice and asked permission to recruit her staff away. And Janice, very Hahn-esque, she said, Timmy, if it was anybody else, I'd say no. But she can work for you. If she wants to work for you, she can work for you.
Right.
I have a great staff.
Yeah, you do. You do. There was a situation, I'll close it right now. There was a situation where I went to your office, I spoke with you, because across the street, there's no parking between 10 and 6, the park, Banning Park.
Oh, yeah.
So I went over there and I said, hey, these signs, I showed you a picture of these signs,
Yeah.
and you gave it to your staff. Within about a month, there was brand new signs right there. It was that quick.
Wow.
Your staff jumped right on it for us.
I appreciate that.
And I'm sure you do it to all the other 1 through 105.
That's right. We try.
Yeah.
We really do. We really do try.
We really appreciated that.
And I have staff members who have developed great relationships with the professional staff, the day-to-day staff, the bureaucratic staff in the city of LA. And I don't say bureaucratic staff to diminish them, but people whose careers have been making signs or putting up signs or fixing the wires or cutting the trees. So we have great relationships with people that do the work, and I think they appreciate us. We appreciate them.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on.
My
Yes.
pleasure. My pleasure. It was great. A lot of fun.
Thanks again for listening. This has been On the Waterfront with Coach, hosted by Edward Barreras and Marina Barreras Hernandez. Production and engineering by me, Buddy Barreras, and recorded in collaboration with the Avalon Arts and Cultural Alliance. Proudly made in the heart of the harbor, Wilmington, California.